Good afternoon, everybody. It's your man with the plan, Shane Man 20, and why not start out this video with a cold start? Smells like corn. So in case it wasn't an obvious thing when I said it smelled like corn, obviously I'm running my truck on E85 this week. I filled up in Evansville and drove it all the way back home on E85, and surprisingly it got about 19.5 miles to the gallon. I'm very surprised on E85. Normally I would get about 18.5 or 19 at the very least. So to say anything about E85 with this truck, it does pretty well, but when it comes to the daily drive going to work, it's usually 19 to 18.5, so about right where I figured it would settle. And even for these trucks, that's not terrible. Most people have gotten much worse, so E85 for this truck, definitely a plus. One other thing that I also want to show you, when I left Evansville, that tip was completely black, and it normally happens when I run 87. It's always sooted up really bad, usually like within the first, I don't know, hour of driving it soots up really bad. And ever since I cleaned that tip, it has not gotten any dirtier. I mean, there's been like watermarks and stuff from condensation on the pipe, so it's just gonna happen, but otherwise those tailpipes have stayed very clean. So that might make me want to run higher octane fuel more often. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to run E85, because the closest E85 station used to be like, I don't know, 15 minutes from here. Now it's 35 minutes from here. So it's kind of impractical to run all the way up to Indianapolis just to get E85. But anyways, let's go to work. God, I love how this truck runs on E85. It's so awesome. Better throttle response, better shifts, better everything. Why can't I get this out of anything else? Maybe I'll just run high octane more often. Okay, so there is a reason why this video is titled as it is. I do have bad news for you guys, but I also have good news for you guys. So which do you want first? Do you want the good news, or do you want the bad news? Good news? Alright, well, we'll give you good news. The good news is that I have started buying more parts for the truck. The only problem with the parts that I ordered is that they're all on back order. Go figure, right? So probably that first week of August is probably when they'll ship out, and they'll be here somewhere around that timeline. So unfortunately, that's going to be a long wait. The second problem is that the parts that I actually ordered are for the next phase of what I plan to do with this truck. Now, the kicker is it's not a cold air intake and it's not a tuner. I do still have to order those, I just haven't done it yet. But with that being said, parts are being ordered. There are more exciting things coming for this truck, so hopefully you guys will stick around for those. So now, with the good news out of the way, now we have to turn to the unfortunate bad news. The bad news is, well, there's actually two parts to the bad news. Part number one, I don't feel like I've been bringing you guys good content. I think I've just been kind of putting half-baked thoughts out there on YouTube just to really keep a constant upload going. And that's one thing that I've always heard from a lot of other YouTubers, is consistency is the name of the game. If you can consistently upload, generally you get more followers, or more subscribers rather, and you slowly build a fan base. Because I feel like I haven't brought you guys any good YouTube content, I've decided, you know what, I'm gonna hold off for a couple of weeks, and I'm gonna get some content together. I'm gonna try and get some more things together. Maybe, like I said, purchase some more parts for the truck and start getting things together in that nature. Now, the only reason why I haven't done much of this stuff sooner is because I've been working towards my own personal goals outside of YouTube. So there's a lot of other things that I've been trying to work towards and just haven't had a chance to be able to, you know, do the things that I want to here. But slowly but surely everything is falling together pretty well, but it's still a little bit slow. So that's kind of the only reason why I haven't moved forward much more than what I have. Part number 2 of the bad news is that there is one other issue that I'd like to get fixed on the truck before we do any more serious modifications to this truck. For the longest time, even before I ever did any modifications to this truck, there's always been this little ticking noise coming from the front of the engine. Now, I always thought it was internal, but the more and more that I've listened to it and the more things that I've done to try and sort of troubleshoot those problems, I've noticed maybe it's not in something internal. It certainly wasn't, you know, anything like a lifter tick, because it kind of comes out intermittently. If it was lifter tick, it would be a very noticeable tick constantly. It go tick, 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 tick. As far as I'm aware, any other lifter tick I've ever heard has been in that kind of range anyways. And then as soon as you rev the engine up, you give it a little oil pressure, usually a tick goes away. Not always, but usually in like an old engine case, like it's been sitting forever and just, you know, things happen. What I think it might be is it might be something on the accessory drive, the serpentine side of things. Might be the idler pulley, might be something else, could be just the belt. But I find that really odd that it would just make this sort of like interesting tick and then it would kind of go away. And then even if I would rev up the engine and let it sit revved up to like maybe 2,000 RPM, 2,500 RPMs for about 5 to 10 seconds, and then let off the gas and let it come back down to idle, it goes away. So I don't know. I find that very strange. It could very well be a bearing in something on the front engine, front side of the engine anyways, is going out. So I don't know. I really have no idea. I'm going to take it back to the dealership and let them take a look at it and see if there's anything that they can find wrong with it. Of course, if I have to pay a little bit out of pocket to have them check it out, it's not a big deal, but I just want to make sure everything is taken care of and that I have no big issues whatsoever with this truck. Because when you start getting into mods and you run into problems like that, things can get really hairy really quick. And because this is my daily driver, I kind of have to consider some of the things that I do to it. So with that said, that's part 2 of those problems. And so yeah. And so with all that said, basically wrapping up this video, just so you guys know, I do have an Instagram. If you guys are not following it already, I will leave the name up here. It is at Shane_man20. Unfortunately, I couldn't get at ShaneMan20 because somebody already has it. Bastards! And I also have a Facebook, so if you guys are more Facebook savvy, it is ShaneMan20. I always leave the link to both pages in my description below, so if you want to follow me on Instagram and like my Facebook page, make sure to check out the description below, so that way you guys can follow me and make sure I'm not dead. So with that said, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it, guys. Also, if this is your first time stopping into the channel, please make sure to hit that subscribe button, even though it might be a little bit of time before you see another one. Also, do not forget about the notification bell next to the subscribe button. Make sure to hit that so you are always notified of when I post new videos, because nobody likes being left out in the dark. I don't like being left out in the dark. And with a 2-week period in there with no videos, might not be a bad idea to just go on ahead and hit that button now, so that way you're not left out in the dark. But with all that said, guys, hopefully you have a fantastic day and take it easy.